Welcome to the Windmill Road Functional Plan presentation. This presentation is part of the first round of public engagement for this project. Thank you for taking the time to engage on this important project. During this presentation, we will provide an overview of the project study area and objectives. Then we'll go into the project background and provide a brief overview of existing conditions. Lastly, we will provide information on the project outcomes and schedule, as well as upcoming public engagement opportunities. The Halifax Regional Municipality is completing a functional planning and design project for Windmill Road that will establish a vision for the corridor and support its transformation into a safe, comfortable, and enjoyable street for people of all ages and abilities. Functional plans are the first stage of redesigning a street. The study area for this project includes the entire length of Windmill Road, from Wise Road, shown towards the bottom of the map, to just north of Ackerley Boulevard, where it transitions to Trunk 7, also known as Magazine Hill. Windmill Road plays an important role in the regional transportation network. It carries between 6,000 vehicles per day close to Wise Road, up to 30,000 vehicles per day near Ackerley Boulevard. It also serves multiple bus routes and is a north-south route for goods movement. The corridor connects several communities, including downtown Dartmouth, the Burnside Industrial Park, and Lower Sackville. It also provides access to regional roadway connections like Highway 111, the McKay Bridge, and Trunk 7. Some of the project objectives include to first understand opportunities, challenges, and constraints on Windmill Road, establish a long-term vision for Windmill Road to support its transformation into a complete street, explore design options that improve quality and safety of infrastructure for all road users, understand the impacts of proposed design options on transit and traffic operations, land requirements, cost, utilities, environment, among others, identify the preferred design option, guide the phasing and construction of proposed improvements, and lastly, establish a monitoring program. The next slides will provide an overview of the project background, including why this project is happening. Development activity is ongoing on multiple parcels along Windmill Road, and further development is expected to continue in the short to long term, and this includes potential for over 30,000 new units, or about 55,000 residents. Some of the upcoming developments include the Shannon Park and Ocean Breeze developments, which will provide a combined total of over 7,000 residential units, or roughly 20,000 new residents, as well as the Dartmouth Towers near Wise Road, which could introduce 1,350 units. The map on the slide shows the proposed developments on and near Windmill Road. Recent land use zoning changes that were introduced by the Housing Accelerator Fund have enabled more growth potential by permitting greater densities within established residential areas, increasing the allowable building heights in some of the areas, and by rezoning some of the established residential parcels to corridor designation, which allows for more residential units. The anticipated development intensification will introduce new mobility demands to the street that will need to be considered. A comprehensive plan for Windmill Road is necessary to ensure that the required mobility infrastructure is in place to support the growing needs of the community. Several plans and policies identify Windmill Road as a strategic corridor given its role and importance in the regional transportation network. These plans and policies support the corridor's transformation into a safe, comfortable, and enjoyable street for people of all ages and abilities using a variety of transportation modes in all seasons. Some of the plans and policies include the Draft Regional Plan, the Regional Center Plan, the Integrated Mobility Plan, the Rapid Transit Strategy, Halifax Transit's Moving Forward Together Plan, the Active Transportation Priorities Plan, the Road Safety Strategy, and many others. Each of these documents have a role in the development of the Windmill Road Functional Plan. The following slides will describe key policy context from these documents as they apply to the Windmill Road corridor. The Integrated Mobility Plan, or the IMP, was adopted by Halifax Regional Council in 2017. The IMP directs future investment in the transportation network. The Windmill Road Functional Plan will be guided by the principles and pillars of the IMP, which include prioritizing the movement of people and goods over vehicles, creating a transportation network that is connected, healthy, affordable, and sustainable, creating links between people and communities, strengthening the relationship between transportation and land use. The Windmill Road Functional Plan will explore design options to help establish a sustainable transit-oriented community. This project will also aim to achieve the mode share targets for active transportation and transit set forth by the IMP. The IMP designates several corridors as transit priority corridors given their importance in the transit network. Transit priority corridors are streets that prioritize the movement of people and buses over vehicular traffic by implementing multiple transit priority measures. These transit priority measures can include bus lanes and advanced bus signals. The IMP designates a section of Windmill Road between Victoria Road and Ackerley Boulevard as a transit priority corridor. Achieving cycling mode share targets will require a bicycle network that is connected, safe, comfortable, and enjoyable for people of all ages and abilities. The map on this slide shows the planned and completed all ages and abilities bikeway projects near Windmill Road. There are currently 4 planned on Alderney Drive, Lyle Street, Shore Road, and Farrell Street. The second policy document is the Active Transportation Priorities Plan. The plan designates Windmill Road between McDonald Bridge and Wright Avenue as a candidate bicycle route where cycling facilities are desired. The third policy document we will be talking about is the Rapid Transit Strategy, which is HRM's plan to implement a rapid transit system in Halifax. The proposed rapid transit system includes 4 bus rapid transit or BRT lines and 3 new ferry routes. One of the proposed ferry routes is the Shannon Park Ferry, which will provide a direct connection between Shannon Park and downtown Halifax. The proposed ferry service is intended to accommodate the anticipated development growth. This project will consider improvements to the pedestrian, cycling, and transit connections between the future ferry terminal and Windmill Road. The strategy did not propose any bus rapid transit service directly on Windmill Road. However, 2 of the 4 proposed bus rapid transit lines will run near Windmill Road. The red BRT line is proposed to run on Alderney Drive, and the purple BRT line is proposed to run on Wise Road. Portions of Windmill Road will be within an 800-meter or about a 10-minute walk to the future bus rapid transit service. Another reason this project is happening is the deteriorating condition of many existing transportation assets, like the sidewalks, curbs, and streets. The sidewalks and multi-use path network is disconnected and many of the bus stops are substandard, which cause safety and accessibility concerns. Windmill Road frequently experiences traffic congestion, which has had negative impacts on transit travel time and reliability along the corridor. Another reason this project is happening is the Burnside Connector / Highway 107 extension that is currently under construction. The Nova Scotia Department of Public Works is constructing a new 8.7 kilometer 4-lane divided highway that will link Burnside to the communities of Sackville and Bedford. This connector will run parallel to Trunk 7 / Magazine Hill and Windmill Road and is expected to attract a lot of traffic from these 2 routes. This presents an opportunity to reimagine how Windmill Road will function as a link and a place or a destination. It also presents an opportunity to reallocate right-of-way space to support active transportation, transit, and goods movement. This project will explore design options that balance the needs for all road users. The design options will include improvements to the pedestrian, cycling, and transit networks while maintaining adequate operations for vehicle traffic and goods movement. This concludes the project background section of the video. The following slides will provide a brief overview of the existing conditions along Windmill Road. Daily traffic volumes vary significantly along Windmill Road. The corridor carries approximately 6,000 vehicles per day near Wise Road to over 30,000 vehicles per day north of Victoria Road as the corridor transitions into Trunk 7. The average speed also varies along the corridor but is roughly 55 kilometers per hour. The average speed exceeds the posted speed limits between Wise Road and Victoria Road, and we will be going over the speeds along each segment in following slides. There were 486 reported collisions on Windmill Road between 2018 and 2023. Approximately 40% of all these collisions occurred at busy intersections north of Victoria Road, where 45 collisions occurred at the intersection with Victoria Road, 78 collisions occurred at the intersection with Wright Avenue, and 74 collisions at the intersection with Ackerley Boulevard. Most of these collisions were due to rear ends. Collisions involving left-turning vehicles were also most common at the Wright Avenue and Ackerley Boulevard intersections, as well as the Wise Road intersection. This data is critical in understanding the safety conditions along Windmill Road. This project will develop design solutions to improve the safety for all road users and minimize collisions. Over the next few slides, we will provide an overview of existing conditions along each segment of Windmill Road. To help with this, we divided the corridor into 4 segments based on the roadway configuration and land use characteristics. Segment A is highlighted in orange on the map and runs between Wise Road and Albro Lake Road. Segment B is highlighted in blue on the map and runs between Albro Lake Road and Victoria Road. Segment C is highlighted in yellow on the map and runs between Victoria Road and Ackerley Boulevard. And lastly, Segment D is highlighted in green on the map and runs between Ackerley Boulevard and Rent Point Road. Starting with Segment A, this segment runs between Wise Road and Albro Lake Road. This segment is classified as a major collector and carries about 6,000 vehicles per day and has one local transit route. The right-of-way along this segment is approximately 22 meters, and the cross-section includes one travel lane in each direction, on-street parking on both sides of the street, as well as continuous sidewalks on both sides of the street, with no cycling facilities. There is also a raised median between the travel lanes south of the McDonald Bridge. The average speed along this segment is 50 kilometers per hour. The figures on the right-hand side include typical cross-sections at 2 points along this segment. The figure on the top shows the cross-sections for the segment south of the McDonald Bridge. The right-of-way is approximately 22 meters, and the cross-section includes a vehicle travel lane per direction, a narrow median, boulevard, street trees, utility poles, and sidewalks. The cross-section at the bottom shows a similar arrangement. However, there is no center median north of Dawson Street. Continuing with Segment B, this segment runs between Albro Lake Road and Victoria Road. This segment is classified as a major collector and carries about 8,000 vehicles per day and has one local transit route. The right-of-way along this segment is approximately 29 meters, and the cross-section includes one travel lane in each direction with no on-street parking or cycling facilities. There is roughly a 700-meter gap in sidewalk on the west side of the street between Highway 111 and Victoria Road. There are 2 pinch points in this segment where the roadway is constrained due to bridge structures for the McKay Overpass and the CN Rail Overpass. The average speed along this segment is approximately 55 kilometers per hour. This slide also illustrates typical cross-sections at 2 points along the segment. The figure on the top shows the cross-section at the rail overpass location and identifies an approximate right-of-way of 29 meters with a vehicle travel lane per direction and a sidewalk on one side. The lower cross-section identifies an approximate right-of-way of 30 meters, including a vehicle travel lane per direction, a transit lane per direction, and a painted median and utility poles and sidewalks. Segment C runs from Victoria Road to Ackerley Boulevard for a stretch of 2 kilometers. This segment is classified as an arterial road and carries around 26,000 vehicles per day. The right-of-way along this segment varies as the context of Windmill Road changes between Victoria Road and Ackerley Boulevard. The cross-section includes up to 6 travel lanes and no on-street parking. This segment of the corridor has discontinuous sidewalks with approximately 1 kilometer of gaps on the west side of Windmill Road. There is a multi-use path on the east side of the road between Victoria Road and Wright Avenue. This segment is serviced by 10 bus routes, including 4 express routes that run in the morning and afternoon peak periods only. There are also multiple transit priority measures along the segment, including dedicated bus lanes and queue jumps at intersections to help transit bypass the traffic congestion. Access to private property is uncontrolled along some sections due to the lack of curb, and in some cases, private off-street parking encroaches on the municipal right-of-way. The average speed along this segment is approximately 57 kilometers per hour. The cross-section on the top shows an approximate right-of-way of 34 meters, including 3 vehicle travel lanes in the northbound direction, 1 vehicle travel lane and 1 transit lane in the southbound direction, a 2-way left turn lane in the center, and a sidewalk on one side. The bottom cross-section identifies an approximate right-of-way of 30 meters, including 2 vehicle travel lanes per direction, a transit lane in the northbound direction, a 2-way left turn lane in the center, a boulevard, utility poles, and a multi-use path on one side. Lastly, Segment D runs from Ackerley Boulevard to Rent Point Road for a stretch of 0.5 kilometers. Segment D is classified as an arterial road and carries around 22,000 vehicles per day. This segment includes up to 6 vehicle travel lanes and currently has no pedestrian or cycling facilities, no on-street parking, and is serviced by several transit routes. This segment also includes transit priority measures, including transit lanes and queue jump and transit signal phases at the Ackerley Boulevard intersection. The average speed is 54 kilometers per hour. This slide also illustrates cross-sections at 2 locations along the segment. The top section identifies an approximate right-of-way of 37 meters, including 4 vehicle travel lanes in the northbound direction and 2 vehicle travel lanes and 1 transit lane in the southbound direction. The bottom cross-section identifies an approximate right-of-way of 41 meters, including 2 vehicle travel lanes per direction and a painted center median. This concludes the existing conditions overview section of the video. Over the next few slides, we will provide an overview of the key study outcomes and project schedule for the Windmill Road Functional Plan, followed by how you can provide feedback on this project. Some of the key outcomes of the Windmill Road Functional Plan include a detailed assessment of existing conditions to better understand the challenges, needs, priorities, and opportunities for Windmill Road. Development of conceptual design options to be evaluated based on how well they meet the project objectives. Functional design drawings as well as a report outlining the proposed design solutions. An implementation plan that considers how upgrades can be incorporated into planned recapitalization projects, as well as development reinstatement opportunities. These will also include opportunities to implement improvements tactically using temporary measures in the short term. This project will also include a monitoring and evaluation plan with key performance indicators to measure the success of the preferred design option in achieving the project objectives following its implementation and construction. We will also have 2 rounds of public engagement throughout this project. This presentation is part of the first round of engagement. This slide shows the project schedule for the functional plan. The study began in May 2024 and consists of 5 phases. The study is currently in Phase 1, Existing Conditions Review, and the first round of public engagement. The second phase of the project is the Concept Design Development and Evaluation. The third phase is the Functional Design and the second round of public engagement. And the fourth phase includes the Implementation Strategy and Final Report. The project team is aiming to provide recommendations on the preferred design option to Regional Council in the spring or summer of 2025. The goal of this round of public engagement is to get the public's input on the current issues, needs, and priorities for Windmill Road to inform the vision and design options for the corridor. We are interested in hearing from you about what you like on Windmill Road and what you think is missing from the corridor today. We are also interested in hearing your ideas on potential features to implement on Windmill Road. You can provide feedback by filling out the online survey, which can be found at shapeyourcityhalifax.ca/Windmill Road. You can also scan the QR code on your screen to access the website. The online survey will close at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, October 10th, 2024. You can also provide feedback by contacting the project manager, Lean Romane, directly by email or phone as shown on the screen. Your input is an important part of our planning process, and we strongly encourage you to participate. The engagement results will be summarized and posted on the project website after this round of engagement is complete. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation and for your interest in the Windmill Road Functional Plan. We encourage you to visit the project webpage to view the project information and stay up to date on the latest progress.